Welcome to the Sportier stream. Welcome in. Hopefully you all are having a good evening here. You joined us this Thursday night for Kyohaku Rocket League series. We've got round 3 of Division B in just a few moments. Our matchup. When that actually I've been looking to see one of these teams, Luminade, for some time this season. We'll finally get to see them for the first time, as well as the Torrent Swarm roster that we actually have seen this roster before, albeit they are under some changes, obviously, since the last time that we've seen them. JD Mayo, Robo, Homer, and Panda on that team. Specifically, Yapping Panda, if any of you remember that name. Luminade with Bubble, Chances, Kratos, and Rando. Those 4 have been teammates for a while, under various different names and various different rosters. They used to be all on Evolve Esports when I first met them, so nice to see them here again. But they're 3-0 right now this season. Luminade has been very good. Sorry, they're 2-0 this season. They're looking to go 3-0 this season. 2-0 in their series, plus 6 game differential. They've swept both their matches so far. Or should have they? No, they haven't. My apologies. Their game differential is plus 3. They've went 3-2 in week 1 against Acid Blue, who right now are 1-1. And then they had a 3-1 victory over Unleashed, who are right now also 1-1. Torrent Swarm are 0-2. Their season's not been so good. 0-2, negative 6 game differential. They've been swept in both their matches so far. Versus Unleashed, who again lost to Luminade. And then in week 2, they lost to SAVG Esports, who are a 2-0 team right now. So this feels like about as lopsided of a matchup as you can expect from these teams. One team 2-0, looking pretty good, having beaten a team that actually swept the other side, who are right now 0-2, haven't even won a game yet this season. Torrent Swarm, I mean, they're looking for their first win, but more importantly, they're looking for their first game win. They haven't even won a game yet this season. So this is a pretty important match for Luminade. Obviously, it's important for them because they're the weakest of the top of the 3 undefeated teams in their grouping. And the other 2 teams ahead of them, again, I mentioned SAVG and HWD Phase, who we saw earlier this season. They're 2-0, 6-0 in games. D-Phase is a team that has been solid this season. In fact, they're playing each other this week, so for Luminade, a win here means they're at least getting top. They're at least going to be at the number 2 seed spot. There is a chance, of course, if that match does go a long distance, they could be in the number 1 overall spot. So a pretty important match for Luminade. For Torrent Swarm, of course, the importance for them is the fact that they're 0-2. They're at the bottom of their group. If they have any hope of making it into playoffs, which would be the top 5 of 8 teams in their group, they need to get some wins, and soon. Even game wins. Their game differential is bad. -6. They've been swept in both their matches so far this season. They desperately need a win, and badly. So this is a game, while feeling lopsided, does have a lot of weight on it, considering where these teams are. One team looking to advance further into the top of their group, the other trying to escape from being at the very bottom. But that's it for the pre-show. Let's get things going here. We're just about ready to get things going. It is, again, Luminade on the orange, Torrent Swarm on the blue. It is a best of 5 matchup here, and one thing to note for Luminade, they are playing their sub in Rando. Kratos, I believe, unable to make it today due to, I think they said a graduation. He's in graduation, so congratulations to Kratos if he's watching. I hope he isn't. I hope you're enjoying your graduation instead of watching this. These VODs do go live afterwards, so you can always watch this thing back later, but congratulations on the graduation, Kratos. But that means it'll be Bubble and Chances with Rando. Now, again, all these people know each other. They all used to be on Evolve Esports back in the day. The fact of the matter is, not too surprised to... I wouldn't be surprised if they're still solid even with the sub here. But Torrent's on the other side. Again, it's JD Mayo. Homa Daichi. I'm going to assume that's Homer. And Yapping Panda. Luminade on the orange. They're already up by 1. Again, for Luminade, this is a match that, again, feels like it's super lopsided in their favor. You should not expect them to lose this thing. Again, the big thing that's going to be on their mind is how this is going to shake up their position in the groups. Of course, a Torrent Swarm, a win here could lead them to go up a couple spots in their groups as well, and potentially start their route to getting out of elimination and into the playoff situation. And it's top 5 of 8 teams in this group will make it to the postseason. 20 teams total across all 4 groups here this division. And Torrent Swarm, not too far behind, will be Homer in the net here, and Luminade not doing a good job getting it out there. Rando with about the worst place you can put that ball. That is right in front of his goal. A panicked touch. Luminade, again, playing with the sub. I don't know how much time they've had with Rando this season. Knowing these kind of rosters, probably not very much. He's going to have a tough time fitting in. And this Luminade team's going to have a really tough time getting used to him, but if they can get up field, it feels like things are going to work for them. If I know anything about this roster, they're very mechanical. These are players that can do some pretty impressive stuff with the ball. And Bubble doing that here. A 1-on-2, and not only does he get over JD Mayo, but he gets the bump on Panda. Luminade, the goal for them is stay away from defense at all costs. Do not play defense. Do not make it a rotational game. Considering that Rando already has sort of shown that he's going to break rotation with this roster. Defense is about the last place you want to be handing up. As a miss for Rando. Chance to score there for Torrent Swarm, not taken. It will be played across for JD Mayo. Again, don't like that decision from Rando to leave the ball there. That was a free shot there. Torrent Swarm was able to get on it, but it won't worry them too much. And Rando's going to make it 3-1. This is going to be a game that Luminade will win if it's an offensive battle. Their offense, their strong points. This is definitely the strong point of these players. Especially without a strong chemistry rotation that we're seeing right now. Their defense isn't really going to stand up to that. It's not going to do well because of that. Their offense, though, with its mechanical ability, is going to be fine. If not, maybe a little bit more brief on their attacks. As JD Mayo is going to take an easy one here, and Luminade giving up a lot of goals easily here. But just, there's no pressure on Torrent Swarm in that position. They'll take it. Again, Torrent Swarm desperately needs some sort of wins. They haven't won a game this season. Obviously, they haven't won a series to 0-2, but they haven't even won a game. Their net differentials -6. They got swept in both their matches in the first 2 weeks. So for them, the importance here could even be just a game win. Getting yourself at least a bit of a better looking game differential. Of course, though, a series wouldn't be huge for them. Any series win would be huge for them, as Bubble looking for that second touch. Won't connect on it. Double commit now. The chances and Rando both in the same spot. Unable to make the pass midfield. Rando gets by Panda and looking for another touch. Will be sent away by Homer. And for Luminade, the real complications showing up already. Having to play with a Sov. As a really nice infield pass. That one too high of the net. It was a great looking play. But just a little too high in the shot there. It goes up the bar and away. And now another infield pass. JD Mayo to tie it! Well, this Torrent Swarm side is continuing to recognize that there is just no resistance from Luminade. You're seeing these infield passes. You're seeing them kind of pull back on the offense a little bit, and that they're sitting further away from the nets. Luminade's really playing a goal line stand. And Torrent Swarm sitting away, sort of forcing them to play out of their nets. Clearly, they're not comfortable doing that, and it's working well. Although Luminade not too far behind, have already taken the lead back. We've only gone about 2 minutes in this game. We've already got 7 goals. As well, the defense has been an absolute catastrophe for these times. Besides, the offenses have done a really good job at getting things started early, setting the tempo, setting the pace, and making things happen really on their own work. The infield passing, right now, the winning strategy for both sides. Although, again, Luminade adding a little bit more mechanics to that as well. The reason they're really up at this point. Albeit, it's a game that really is likely going to be one that's decided by just the chances that you make, and really, if you can stand up defensively. No shortage of goals in the first half of this game. And maybe still more to come. Chances. Flip reset. Doesn't have it. Will instead play it back to Rando. At the last goal there. Will not be able to get by Homer. So he'll put the pressure on. JD Mayo with a free effort. Nobody there. Chances will cut across. Credited with a save on that one. That was a great looking opportunity for Torrent Swarm. And they're not done just yet. JD Mayo will hold on to this thing. Chances on the challenge. Luminade waiting. Rando on the infield pass. Double commit from Torrent. This is an open backfield here, but Luminade not able to get to it fast enough. They'll keep the pressure going, but I have to imagine Torrent Swarm at this point recognize the situation that they're in. The defense has not exactly been great this game. The longer that they are spending it back here, the worse it's going to be, and a 2-goal lead for Luminade might just be enough to really take over this game. Knowing this Luminade roster, if they can take over a game, there's a good chance that the series will go with it. This is a big moment for Torrent Swarm, and one that you feel like, for them at least, would be a huge push in the right direction if they can win. For now, stop short. Luminade will not let them go through easily. Long touch. Bubble. Panda, unable to get much on it. And this one played infield. Chances demoed out. Panda will look for Bubble. Torrent Swarm still searching. They're having 7 goals the first almost 2.5 minutes of gameplay. We have had 0 since, and we're in the final 60 seconds of regulation. Luminade still looking for that goal to send up their lead up to 2. Torrent Swarm battling for any reason to take a game off of one of the top teams in this division. Rando, 2 chances. Bubbles now. This one's really up in the air. Torrent Swarm using a lot of boost on that, but they will get rid of it. Luminade will still have the ball. Torrent Swarm can make offense out of this. They'll need a good chance, though, and right now they're not getting that. Luminade has calmed down from their early game fiascos, but it hasn't been enough here. It's Panda. And another infield pass for Torrent Swarm that works. I want to let Tougher to read. Panda maybe expecting a whiff on that play. Kind of left a bit prematurely, but a tough read to make regardless. And now this game is tied at 4 each. And Torrent Swarm looking to keep the slow momentum going. They've really got this Luminade team on a string right now, but I'll have to go back to defense for a little bit longer. Homer. Oh, look at this one. Bubble already on target. Chances will be next to go. It's actually Rando's going to take the jump instead. Tough play to make. One last chance, and Panda unable to put it on target. Cleared away by Chances. Homer is not going to take a touch on this one. We have overtime in game 1. For a Torrent Swarm side that has not won a game yet this season, this might be one of their best chances so far. Luminade have struggled defensively here on Manfield Night. A team that clearly hasn't had that much time with their sub. You're seeing it really hurt them in the worst ways here in a match that should not be a problem for them on paper. As they're going to have an open room here. Bubble to end it! He's got the save! What a block for JD Mayo! 1-on-1. Chances now. Able to poke this one over the top. Tough play for Panda. Even tougher for Bubbles, though, who couldn't read the ball. Well, Luminade will keep it. No telling if they're going to be able to get a game on this one. As Torrent with a long touch. Panda. Oh, he got a couple players to jump. It will be Bubble, though. Chances chasing. Looking for it. He'll play it to the corner instead. Not enough boost to shoot that one. Panda can. That's just high. Torrent Swarm, we're not back yet. A real good-looking opportunity. And Luminade's still pushing. And again, later this season, they still have to play against some of the other top teams in this division. Considering that we've seen WD FaZe, the current #1 team in this grouping, a team that hasn't dropped the game this season, is, of course, playing a really important match this week. This is not a good sign, considering what kind of matchups they'll have later this season. Of course, again, it is with the sub, so maybe take it with a grain of salt, but even then, doesn't matter. This is a real struggle for the big open net, though! Oh, Bubble whiffed on it! He had a wide open look. Chances now, not enough on it. And how do you miss that one if you're Luminade? Such a good look. You don't get many like that one at this level. As here goes Chances. Over 2 minutes of overtime thus far. Much more defensive than we started. Chances now. Flip reset to Bubble. That's going to end it. A 9-goal game. And Luminade will start it out in overtime. Well, they missed their wide open net only moments ago. This one will not miss. Kissing the post and then the back of the net. Luminade on a shaky start, but a start that will favor them in the end. But boy, this is not going to be what they'll be considering a positive. We'll move into game 2 momentarily, but you have to imagine if you're Luminade here, you do not feel comfortable with that thing. Their rotations with Rando look real off. Defensively, they sit really far back, and Torrent Swarm loves those infield passes. Luminade seems to also go for them, but Luminade's a more mechanical team. You see a little bit more variety in their offense. I think that's what makes them scarier in this matchup. But boy, oh boy, their defense is struggling. There are a lot of defensive problems right now with Luminade. And if those issues persist, they're going to have a real tough time winning this series cleanly. All it takes is a bad streak of offense, and they're going to drop a game to this Torrent Swarm side. Considering again that Torrent Swarm hasn't won a game against any team this season, that would be embarrassing for Luminade to drop one to them here. But again, for Torrent Swarm, they've not looked bad. I was really going to have a quick pause here, I think. Let them all jump back in for a moment here while we wait. Looks like we had some technical issues with everybody getting in the lobby in time, but... yeah, we are gonna have another server change here. Seems like we're having some. Seems like we're gonna have a server change. So we'll wait a little bit longer to get into game 2 here, and get this match underway again. Get this match restarted for game 2. Again, for Luminade at least, the big thing for them at least is gonna be defensively. How do they hold up? If their defense can just stand up a little bit better, if they not give up that many goals in a game, they're gonna be fine. For Torrent Swarm, obviously the problem for them is the fact that they honestly could have scored more that game. They had this Luminate team caught, and really, again, it comes down to defenses for these teams. These defenses didn't look good in game 1. They both gave up far more goals than you should be in a game as well. So, for both these teams, defensively, they need to stop it. And a lot of it is coming down to the fact that these teams are both doing infield passing. Someone's got to sit up higher. These defenses got to sit up higher. You need to have a stronger line so that infield passing doesn't become as much of an issue as it did in game 1 for both teams. Really, whichever defense can handle that better is likely going to be the team that wins out this series. For now, though, game 1 does go to Luminade, the 2-0 side. Of course, again, they've got the benefit of not just infield passing, but a couple of mechanical solo plays as well in their favor. They know what they're doing, so they definitely know at least that has also been working. But of course, infield passing seemingly the biggest success story of game 1 for both teams. I would expect it to continue as the series goes onward. Keeps working, you keep doing it. Right now, these teams have a tough time reading it. I just, again, my worry for Torrent Swarm is the fact that if the infield passing does get cut out, if Luminate does start to recognize what they're doing and can defend that, they didn't have a lot of other options here. And just look at this from Luminade. They keep doing this, and it's just fast right now. Their speed definitely also something that's in their favor. They're definitely beating Torrent Swarm to more challenges. That one pretty impressive, though. I did not think Rando was going to get up that quickly for it. And yet he does, and Luminade take the lead in game 2. There's a really awkward-looking kickoff here. Will be one for Bubble here as Omer now subbed out, by the way, for Roro. So Roro subbing in on Torrent Swarm. Clearly looking to make a change out of game 1. Again, that change will almost certainly need to be a defensive one, as that's not a good touch from Roro. Straight to Rando, and while that shot wasn't great, it does ask if Luminade can make it 2-0 here. They're not too far away, and they're definitely still asking those questions. As up the back wall, Rando not able to play it. In fact, he's facing the wrong direction here. About the kind of place that you want to be if you're Torrent Swarm. A great looking opportunity to shoot. Well, you may not score all of them. Those are the kind of plays that you want to put the pressure on your opponents from. Especially because it is proving to be repeatable that Rando does not seem to read this back wall very well. But no punishment on Luminade. And they're back on offense too. Still looking for 2-0. Bubble away by Panda. There'll be chances. Pinch backwards. Bubble again. Up is chances. He'll not be able to get to the ball in time. And Rando dunked out by a yapping Panda. Bubble. Robo. Playing it to JD Mayo. 3 minutes left in this game. 2 players commit now. Tough play to make! And Panda jumps on top of it. Double commit from both sides. And the sad thing is, I think Chances actually has that block there if Rando doesn't go for it, but I have to imagine Chances didn't call Rando off. I think so often you call your teammate off in that position. The guy who's last back there, it's Chances' job to choose if he's going to go for that or not. Feels like he makes that decision far too late, and Luminade pays for it. Again, ordinarily on a team with strong chemistry with all their starters, I don't think you see that kind of issue, but with a substitute that clearly, at least from what I see, hasn't had a lot of time on this Luminade roster. That's something that you need to be wary of, as what a fake from Chances. Oh my goodness, just wide of the net. And here goes Rando. Swarm Team doing a really good job at serving their boost. This Luminade offense not nearly given the same amount of room, although this is a tough place to be. Rando to the top right corner, even if the amount of space given for Torrent Swarm is less, Luminade still knows how to make it happen. A third goal here, and by this point last game, we had already had 7 goals scored. Defenses have definitely improved. Although again, it still feels like it's offensive controlled battles. It feels like those offenses these teams are clearly most comfortable with and the strongest with are going to be what will win this game as well. Although again, the defense is making it a whole lot tougher. Luminade's defense definitely stepping up from huge from last game. You're seeing a lot less mistakes from them. Rando, interesting jump there would have. I feel like that's a bit of an early play for him, but Luminade will clear it out. Chances up is Bubble, and he's got a double tap. Does he hit it? Not enough boost. Rando on a very weak shot. It actually still bounces in front. Oh, and it goes in. I don't think Rando had the last touch on this either. It was not a great shot from Rando. Just didn't get full contact on it. Oh, and it's JD Mayo who boots it into his own net. Looked like he was trying to hit it to the back left corner there, but... Or, sorry, his back right corner. Completely missed it. Now Luminade with a 2-goal lead that they'll look to keep. Something that they really didn't do much of last game was holding their leads. By the end of it, they were searching for that 2-goal lead. A 2-goal lead, of course, that didn't come to them. This game now looking a lot better overall. Tough play, though, for Bubbles. Low boost already for Luminade. They're going to be trapped on defense for a little while longer, but yet that is a bad touch. Straight to Bubble, and while Luminade don't do a good job of getting the ball out of the half. The fact of the matter is, Torrent Swarm sent everyone upfield. They don't really have a choice, and now Bubble! Oh, he adds another one! Luminade. Oh, this from Bubble just takes his time. In all the chaos, Luminade's offense is still running the show, albeit a lot less infield passing, a lot more solo plays, and still the same amount of problems for Torrent Swarm as before. Man, in fact, last game again was a 5-goal game for Luminade. They may be 1 goal away from repeating that. Remember, that was with an overtime as well, so for Luminade, and to repeat what their offense did last game, and Torrent Swarm, while they have stopped the infield passing, have not been able to match the speed and the individual ability of Luminade. Rando up the back wall. Bubble. Pinched back by Panda. No, it's a great touch from JD Mayo. And in fact, a tough one here if your chances. You will get rid of it, though, as it goes right up and over Robo. Really scary place there for your Luminade, though. As JD Mayo. High bounce. Robo is up, but Bubble wins that play. And here goes Chances. Redirect. Not on target. Bubble to make it 5-1. It's over the net and gone. Same number of goals that Luminade scored in Game 1. They'll score here, in regulation of Game 1. They score in the regulation of Game 2. A 4-1 victory. And their defense stepping up huge. Not a lot of saves, but a whole lot more shot prevention. I didn't see the same amount of space given, and really, the same amount of mistakes that they gave as well, as they did in Game 1. Still rotationally, it feels like it's a bit of a mess, but it's a whole lot cleaner here, and a whole lot more reasonable. Game 3 only moments away here, but Torrent Swarm, nothing has worked in Game 2. This Luminade side has gotten better. The defense has gotten a lot more consistent and a lot more formidable. And while it's not perfect, it's enough to shut down this Torrent Swarm rotation. And really, for Luminade, they're outpacing them, they're out-mechanicking them. They're winning the one-on-one battles, they're winning the races to the ball. Luminade right now in firm control of this series right at this point. And we'll see if Torrent will make another move around. Again, Homer subbed out for Rovo in that last game. Rovo really didn't have a great impact. He was barely noticeable last game. We'll see if they sub out someone for Homer. Because at this point for Torrent Swarm, you're trying everything you can to see what works. Again, for them at this point as well, this early in the season, already their chance of making it into playoffs in the postseason already in jeopardy as well. A loss here would be huge, and especially a sweep loss. They'd be 0-9 in games. They'd be 0-3 in series. And their hopes of making playoffs really difficult. Not only because they have to win a lot of their late season matches. I mean, they'd have to essentially win all 4 of their late season matches to give themselves a reasonable chance to get there. But they'd also need to have good game differential, because even if they go 4-3 this season, or even 3-4, let's say they win one or more of their matches and they win 3, there's still a chance they make playoffs, but they would probably need good game differential for it too. Again, their game differential is about as bad as it can be at this point. -8, could be -9 if Luminade keeps this going, and I think it's likely that they will. I think it's extremely likely that they do. 0-9 would be the worst place you could be after 3 weeks of action. They haven't made a change, by the way, for Torrent Swarm. Same 3 players being rolled right back out as they had in Game 2. I thought Game 2 was worse than their Game 1 performance, but admittedly, if you're Torrent Swarm, maybe it just meshes better. Whatever it is, they'll need some early success in Game 3. As interesting touch there from Bubbles, nearly puts it in his own net. Randall got pumped midair there. Will be a free touch for Robo. Demoing from Bubble. He's going to remove an option there for Torrent Swarm, albeit they are still on offense. In fact, they're going to shoot from here. JD Mayo! Boy, oh boy, he had a lot of time to think about that shot. Luminade, who didn't make that many mistakes last game. This is a huge opening, and one that is just way too easy for Torrent Swarm. A gimme, if you will, for Torrent Swarm, but they're going to take it. They need every goal they can get. They didn't have much in the ways of offense last game. By the end of it, really weren't able to keep things close. Sent away, Bubble. He'll play that challenge, and Luminade looking for the goal to tie things up, as it's not a good play from Rando. He doesn't even make contact. Chances. Would have liked to see him take it to the back corner instead. Luminade, a little bit flustered here. Double commit now. Chances did have a boost. Again, I don't know if he called off Rando on that play. Team that has chemistry, that's a normal thing to do, but again, Rando's their sub. He hasn't had a lot of... I don't think he's had a lot of experience on this roster competing together this season. That's something that if your chances, you gotta just recognize and not make anything worse by committing with Rando. There's a lot of room for Panda. Rando will cut across. Great challenge taken. In fact, plays it back to Chances. Luminade will have to play patiently here, but that shot not dangerous. Another double commit here. It's an open chance if someone can turn it in. They will! It's a 2-0 lead for Torrent Swarm. Another double commit here. Bubble and Rando running into each other. Now I'm starting to wonder if it might be a Rovo thing, because, I mean, he, again, isn't used to this rotation. He's not used to this roster. Ordinarily, a player in Rando's vision, if he knows his teammates next to him, he's not going for that. He knows that they have boost. But again, Rando doesn't know. He doesn't have experience with this team. He's just going. Oh, dear. Well, from one bad goal to another, this one might be even more embarrassing. Chances will just send it to the net, and this is a relatively routine play. Rovo just misses it completely. And you're talking about sucking the life out of a team. That is a goal that can, a given up goal that can really suck the life out of this Torrent Swarm roster. Fortunately, they're in the lead, and they're going to add to it as well, make it 3-1, but boy, that could have been damaging for this rotation. And for Luminade, about as bad of a start as you can ask for. So something that I hinted at the end of Game 1 was that if their offense does collapse, they don't exactly have a strong backline to hold them down. Part of the reason they didn't give up so many goals last game is because their offense did so much of the work. They didn't really have to play defense. This game they've had to do a lot more, and it has not gone well for them. Oh, it's a big whiff for Chances. Endo will play the fake instead. Chances will take the ball around the corner. Not a great play on JD Mayo. Luminade looking real troubled right now. As an infield pass to Bubble. Demo as well. Didn't get enough height on that shot against JD Mayo, but there's a lot of room for Luminade. Bubble on 2, up high. Oh, Rando missed it! It's an awkward play for JD Mayo, who was expecting the shot from Rando. It will never come. And here goes Luminade again. High touch. No real way, easy way to shoot from there. They'll take it back to the middle of the field, but it's Luminade on offense. Although maybe not for long. It's not a great touch though from Torrent Swarm, and here goes Rando up the field, up the ceiling as well. Bubble to the back wall, looking to the net. It's Chances who couldn't turn it in. There's a wide open net right now. No shot there. It's a miss from Roro. Even though it's not an easy play, double tap, not something that a lot of these players may be exactly perfect at. That's a wide open net. You cannot miss those. Gonna put this game out of reach for Luminade, you feel, with how little time they have left at this point. As Chances, Rando missing the target. Will be on Chances again. There's nobody back. Yapping Panda gets to it. Almost a heartbreaker there if you're Torrent Swarm. You've got this 2-goal lead. You don't need to lose it. As there's only a minute to go, Rando towards the net. It's Bubble who's next, who doesn't get a good catch on it. Here goes Chances. Rando. Torrent Swarm looking for their first game win of the season. They're only 40 seconds away. Really bad touch from Chances. JD Mayo with another heavy clear. A tough bounce if you're Luminade. Rando again. Opts not to pick up that mid boost. Will go for the play instead. Off the back wall. Open net there. Chances missed it. What should have been an easy goal for Chances. Well wide of the net. And Torrent Swarm are going to look to let these final seconds tick away. Long clear. Robo. It is played right to Chances, and there needs to be an early challenge. Luminade, with an awful start to this game, have not been able to recover on their offense. It will be the first game win of the season for Torrent Swarm. For 2 weeks straight, they've been swept. Week 3, they will avoid just that. Of course, a minor victory for them. This series is still ongoing, and for Luminade, again, I hinted in Game 1 that this could be a real possibility for them, that they could have this kind of a collapse. That was exactly what we saw there. A start that they would rather forget, I'm certain. Go into our next game. Game 4. For Luminade, they can still win the series, but, man, I think at this point, if you're Luminade, you just want to get away from this series. This has not been a good series. For a team that's supposed to be at the top of the division, this has not been a very good-looking performance from them. A team that's, again, competing to be the very best in this division. Has not been a good-looking performance for them. At this point, if you're Luminade, you just want to get away from all of this. Just get out of this series with a win. Well, they've started off well, better than they did in Game 3. Chances to Bubble. And a 15-second goal to start Game 4. Torrent Swarm trying to live up that high of Game 3. They did a great job at really setting the pace early. Not dying under all the pressure, as so many teams at this point in the season would be. Now they look for another. They will get it. That ball just landed in front. It was a tough bounce off the post. Luminade will be kicking themselves because, I mean, I know Chances well enough to know that he expects himself to get that touch, but he misses it. And again, Torrent Swarm. A lot of these goals from against Luminade are coming up mistakes, but who cares? The good thing is they're taking them. I wouldn't be talking about these mistakes nearly as seriously as if this Torrent Swarm team wasn't taking goals off of it. They are. They're still not done as JD Mayo laying it to Panda. That is pinched all the way back to the blue half of the field. No play there for Robo. Chances. Oh, it's a tough play to be if you're in Panda's position. Job from JD Mayo to cut across. Still another shot to come. And Robo's gonna get to this one. Oh, he just barely got to that. As an interesting touch there from Chances will all but certainly get rid of all the offense for Luminade. As here goes Panda, followed up by Robo. And a big demo! That's there! Chances off the post! Follow up! It's JD Mayo, and it's not in! Yapping Panda! Not on target! Mayo now! And that's the lead for Torrent Swarm! The underdog performance! It has not been pretty, but boy, they have been tenacious. That's the kind of fight back you want to see from any team this season. Unless a team that's 0-2 and battling to just stay in the playoff battle, in the playoff race. Oh, as it's in front, saved away, Chances off the crossbar. Torrent Swarm survive a near-death experience. Watching their life flash before their very eyes. That's in front of the goal. Robo in a real tough position, and Bubbles will make it 2-2. On low boost, Torrent Swarm unable to keep up. As for JD Mayo, not there. 3v1 the other way. Bubble looking for the answerable bump. He will actually go for the top right corner instead. Yapping Panda delayed that challenge just long enough to remove the bump as a real option. Luminade's still going, and right now a boost potentially becoming a major issue for Torrent Swarm. That's an open chance for Rando, and he's not missing from there. As Luminade. Still keeping it is Luminade. Panda on the big clear. And will look to take their time as they'll be in their possession. Torrent Swarm, with half the game to play, will need a goal to keep themselves in the battle. A close one at that as well. The series has been surprisingly better for a match that was expected to be extremely one-sided. Torrent Swarm side just doesn't know when to give up, and they are still challenging. Panda plays it up for Robo. He's actually does a great job at beating Bubble that play. JD Mayo jumping in. It's trying to be a pass in front. Swarm did commit heavily that, though, and Panda whiffed on this, too. Robo will bump out Rando, but this is still Luminade on the play in front of the net. Oh, what a dunk! Panda played it right in the roto. And Rando will happily take it. Just chasing after it, and sometimes it just works. Luminade are 2 minutes away from escaping this series with a victory. JD Mayo will take it to the back corner. Across to Panda. He'll go up the back wall. Well played from JD Mayo. Bubble. Robo looking to hit the top of the goal. Not a hard play for Chances to make, however. And the Torrent Swarm, again, they're relying on mistakes to be made from Luminade. A lot of these shots are coming from distance and aren't really going to threaten Luminade all too heavily. They are relying on mistakes. A lot of the goals have been off of Luminade errors. Luminade doesn't make errors. Torrent Swarm's not going to be able to come back in this game right the way the offense has been performing. Although that is a mistake, it will be played back for Rando. Not an easy touch to make, though. And here goes Panda. Demo in front. It's an open net, and there goes Torrent Swarm. Great bump from JD Mayo. Gets rid of that last defender. The only one was standing between Panda and the net. And Torrent Swarm. With less than a minute to go, if they are to stay in this series through all the improbable predictions, a Game 5 would be an incredible way for Torrent Swarm to come back into this season. Of course, time is running out for them to make that happen. Panda. That's a great touch. Will actually be so good that no one will get to it. Rando. Through the midfield, it's JD Mayo who puts his life on the line just to get that ball down the field. Up and still for Torrent. Panda, unable to really get a clean touch past chances. Here goes JD Mayo. Easy clear for Bubble. And Luminade. To play these seconds. Not a good touch from Roro! Oh, it's a gift for chances! 9 seconds. And Roro, with about the worst blunder you can make, a chance taken. And Luminade should win the series there. Torrent Swarm who are waiting for mistakes at the end of this game from Luminade. In fact, make their own mistake to end the series. Robo, who got subbed in mid-series, opted to stay in after the tumultuous Game 2. He will feel like it's all his fault in reality. This Torrent Swarm side was a combination of just not being able to keep up with Luminade's pace, not being able to manage, and of course mistakes on the back end that really hurt them at the end of this match. A match that was a lot closer than it needed to be if you were a Luminade, and one that they will not be happy with either. 3-1 will be the ending scoreline. While Luminade will get this win, this isn't going to feel like a victory for them. This match was very close and very competitive, something that Luminade really shouldn't have had happen to them here tonight. But for Luminade, win here. While it will not be a pretty looking win, by all means, it is a win. And the benefit is for them, at least, that this is a match that is against a weaker opponent. There are some good teams that they're going to play against later. They better hope that this is not going to be indicative of the rest of their season. The benefit is they've got a lot of time. They've got a lot of time to adapt, to adjust, and to hopefully have more consistency. I think a lot of this had to do with the fact that they were playing with the sub in Rando, and they clearly weren't very comfortable playing around Rando. I think they didn't have a lot of experience with Rando this season. That definitely hurt them at this point in the season. But the nice thing is, they got the win. They can at least think of it that way. They at least get the win. They at least get out of it, and are now 3-0 in the season. Man, if it also is with this win as well, they're guaranteed to at least be number 2 seed in their grouping. And considering that both HWD FaZe and SAVG Sports are playing each other this week. So for them, at least, the silver lining is they have one. So they don't need to think too hard about the specifics, at least for tonight. Torrent Swarm, relatively well-played performance, but of course the big thing that hurt them here was the fact that their offense was one that needed mistakes to get goals. That just isn't going to get you very far this season, especially when a lot of these teams do have, when there's teams here that have stronger and better defenses. You're going to need to be able to make your own chances. They did that in Game 1, but they really didn't do that in the rest of the series. You saw, as a result, not a lot of their games weren't really that high scoring, and a lot of their goals, again, came off of mistakes, so a team that will definitely want to look to see if they can make something happen offensively. But we're going to get a quick interview, I think, with Bubble of Luminade here. As there we go. Welcome in, Bubble. 3-1 in, win here, 3-0 in the season. You get your victory, you stay undefeated as of now, and you're at least guaranteed at least to be in the top 2 in this division by the end of the week. How are you feeling as well after that win? How are you guys feeling about your position in this bracket?
We felt good. They were definitely a harder opponent than we thought. We just went in looking at their 0-2 and we thought it was just gonna be free, but they definitely played a lot better than we thought. So we had to adjust some few things, but made it work.
Your team had to play with the sub tonight. I think a lot of your issues tonight came down to you having to get used to Rando as your sub. It didn't seem like you guys had a lot of experience with Rando, didn't have a lot of practice with Rando beforehand. Rotationally, it definitely felt like it was a little awkward at times between you, Chances, and Rando. Talk to me about kind of getting used to having to play with the sub, especially for a team like yours that seems like, at least from what I can see outside looking in, that doesn't really play out your sub that often.
Yeah, so we played with Rando the previous week, but that was the first time we played with him, like me, Chances, Rando, like as a team, and we don't really scrim. So the second series that we played today was basically like our second time playing like as a team on a like league match. So we definitely had to like take the first game to adjust the different play style that Rando brings in because he does like to tend to play a little bit more defensively. So I feel like once we figured out like how to play with each other, I think we played definitely a lot more confident like towards the end.
Of course, and of course now 3-0 still. I think you still have, again, have to play against some of the other top teams in this division. You haven't played any of the top teams yet. Of course, it'd be SAVG and HWD phase that seem to be the leaders in your division. What's this team going to do to match up against them? As you said, this team was a lot tougher than you expected. In Torrent's Swarm, they took a game off you guys. In fact, that's their first game win of the season. So for you guys, you at least know that if you get up against playing against these top level teams, they're likely to take multiple games off you guys if you don't if you don't play smartly here. What are you guys going to do to make sure that when you match up against SAVG Esports and against HWD phase, that's a lot of the issues that you had this series get fixed?
So we're probably gonna scrim like either the day before or the day of the series. And I definitely want to see if they have VODs on like their previous VODs if they played like another team. You could do some like 30-minute VOD reviews on how they play and just counter them from that.
Oh, for now, you guys are to take the win 3-1 against Torrent Swarm 3-0 in the season. Thank you so much for joining, Bubble. Do you have anything else you want to say? Any other comments?
Shout out my teammates, shout out Kratos, shout out my dad, shout out Sporty. That's it.
Thank you so much for joining, Bubble. Congratulations on the win.
Thank you.
3-0 win there. Again, a win for Luminade. A tough one for them, definitely. As Bubble even mentioned, they underestimated this Torrent Swarm side, who, at least for them, they do get a win this season. Of course, the season continues. There's still a lot more to go. Still a lot more these teams can change. Still a lot more that the bracket can change, that the groupings can change. But for us tonight, that is it. Our only match of the evening. Thank you so much for joining the Spodia stream. Congratulations to Luminade. And to all of you for joining, thank you so much for joining. It means a lot that you all support every single day. Take care.